A meal that's good for your heart and good for your belly. Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table. Today we are celebrating National Heart Month. So this segment and then the one that we have after this will be in celebration of American Heart Month and focusing on using recipes from the American Heart Association. So we have two different recipes today that are really, really tasty. Our first one is a black-eyed pea salad, which is really simple. It's a cold salad. You just mix everything together. And then our other recipe are turkey sliders, and they have avocado and tomato and some reduced fat Swiss cheese on there as well. So what we're gonna start with is our black bean and corn salad. Now I have already taken my can of black-eyed peas. I've already taken my can of black-eyed peas and my can of corn and drained them and rinsed them really well. When you're able to rinse your vegetables, then you can actually remove about 30 to 40% of that sodium. So the black-eyed peas, I could not find the no salt added option, which is why it was so important for me to rinse those really well. The corn is pretty popular. You can usually find a no salt added variety out there at the grocery store. So we've already got that, and then I also went ahead and chopped up my red onion so that I wouldn't be crying on set with you guys. So that's about 1/3 of a cup of chopped onion. So we got all that done. The next thing we're gonna do is kind of make our dressing. So for our dressing, we are just using olive oil and red wine vinegar. And we need 1/4 of a cup of each one. Now you could also use any other kind of vegetable oil out there. So canola oil, vegetable oil, any other type of light oil. The purpose of that is that we are using an unsaturated fat or an unsaturated oil, which will be any oil that is liquid at room temperature. So things like coconut oil or butter or lard, any of those things that are solid at room temperature, those contain a high amount of saturated fat, and saturated fat is directly linked to heart disease. So we want to keep that within a certain amount. Personally, I would much rather get my saturated fats from things like beef, pork, any of my, even your chicken, turkey, any of my meats. I enjoy meat, so I would rather get that from those areas than with just my oils, dressings, things like that. So good thing here is to use your unsaturated oil, unsaturated fat oil. And then we're also gonna do 1/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar. Which will be a total of 1/2 cup. And we've got a little bit of seasoning. So we have some garlic powder here. We are gonna need just 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. If I can get it open. Well, I'm just going to eyeball it here. It's about 1/4 of a teaspoon. I like a little extra garlic, so even if we went a little over, that's okay. And then we have 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin. So not quite a teaspoon. And then you're just gonna add in a little bit of salt and pepper. So it's about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, which is like a pinch of pepper. Can go more or less if you like a little bit more pepper. I know some people, that's their thing. And one thing, you hear a lot about sodium and trying not to over-consume on your salt. Whenever we're cooking at home and we are flavoring salt ourselves, or flavoring foods ourselves with salt, our issue with sodium doesn't tend to be us adding salt to things. Our issue tends to be us consuming processed foods or going out to eat frequently. A lot of prepackaged processed food items contain a good amount of salt. So that is where we start to see overconsumption of sodium and us getting way too much of that in our diet through those prepackaged foods, not necessarily from the table. So if you're making something, don't be afraid to add in a little bit of salt. A certain level of sodium is healthy and important in the diet because people can get sick if you don't have enough sodium, but people can also get very sick if you're consuming way too much sodium. So just keep that in mind, that it's okay to add a little bit of salt. You guys see me adding salt to a lot of my recipes, but we're making things here, right? We're making a lot of our foods homemade, right in the kitchen, fresh foods. We're not doing a lot of those prepackaged items. So I've got a cucumber here. I just cut the ends off and then cut it in half. I'm going to cut it kind of in half again. You just want it to be chopped, and typically you want this to be kind of more finely chopped. So however you feel like doing that, I find this to be the easiest way. All right, so I'm gonna finish up chopping up our cucumber and adding it to our bowl. We'll see you back in just 1 second.
Whether you're returning from a family vacation, coming back from college, or even returning from serving our country, we know there's no place like home. And here at Performance Ford, we want to make sure you get there. That's why every Performance certified vehicle comes with the Performance Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. Performance Ford, welcome home.
Introducing the Star Communications app. All the tools you need in one convenient location. You can access Watch TV everywhere. Check local channel lineup. Check your Star email. View and pay your Star bill. Report troubles. Use your Star Security app. Check your home voicemail. Sign up for CrowdFiber. Check your Wi-Fi speed. The list keeps going and going. Download for free from the App Store or Google Play.
All right, so we have our cucumber chopped up. Went ahead and did one of our tomatoes just to save us a little bit of time. We'll do the other one with you guys. Next up, we have our zucchini. And these are supposed to be about medium size. So when you're shopping in the grocery store, look for kind of a medium-sized vegetable. And you guys saw me do this with the cucumber as well, but if you cut it in half long ways, this helps it not to be a rocking vegetable, so that you have kind of more of a grasp or more of a grip over that vegetable, and it allows you to chop a little bit better. So if you're new to using a knife in the kitchen, this is one way that can help you to make it a little bit easier, a little less scary for you. So any vegetable, this actually reminds me a lot of Texas caviar or cowboy caviar. It's really, really similar. But I have done that with different vegetables. So if you're not a huge fan of zucchini, or if you like squash better, or whatever the case may be, you can leave some of these things out and add other things. So any vegetables you like really can go into this dish. If you're into spice, you could add 1 to 2 fresh jalapenos. That would be really good. So it's really great you have a lot of variety with this dish. I say this every time. You make it your own. You make it for what your family enjoys. Recipes are not rules. But you do want to make sure your veggies are chopped into nice little bite-sized pieces. That way, it'll stretch throughout the whole dish. You won't just get one big chunk of different things here and there. All right, so next we've got our bell pepper. Any color is fine for this. I just had red on hand, but I like to take the top and the bottom off, and then I just rotate it so that you have your seed here, no seeds anywhere else, and you can just throw that away. Doesn't always turn out that pretty or work that well. Sometimes you have seeds that kind of get stuck on the side of your pepper. And then you just pop out your center as well. And then we're just gonna chop those up. Another little knife tip for you: when you're using your knife, just make sure that you keep that tip of your knife on the cutting board, and then just slowly kind of moving your fingers down as you chop. We always say to go slow. We do have a Cook Smart, Eat Smart class coming up in March, so stay tuned for that. But if you're wanting to kind of sharpen up your skills in the kitchen, you can absolutely join us for that workshop. It will be virtual. It's going to be virtual for a little while, just due to COVID, but feel free to join us. There will not be a cap on how many people we can have because it's all virtual. So that's really, really nice. And I think this time it would be really fun if we send you guys the recipes we're gonna make ahead of time, and then you can chop and cook everything with us on camera. So while you're joining us through Zoom, you can be making what we're making. And we're using this whole bell pepper. Yeah. So this recipe does have a good bit of chopping going on with it, but you get a good amount of dish afterwards, so it really works out. Okay. And you can just see over here all the colors that I have going on. It's looking so pretty. We'll mix it all together, but I love how it looks before you even do that. All right, so our last thing, we had 2 tomatoes, so this is our second one. I like to cut the top off, and then I actually just cut around where that stem was. And that way you get to utilize a lot of your tomato, so we have less food waste. So I'm gonna finish cutting this up, and then we'll see you guys back in just 1 second to finish up our black-eyed pea salad.
Getting a new car or truck doesn't have to be difficult or expensive. Just let Performance Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram swap keys with you. Bring in your current vehicle, we'll swap keys and get you into a new car with Performance Peace of Mind lifetime powertrain warranty for the same or less than you're paying now. We've got a lot full of vehicles to choose from, and there's never been a better time to shop than the Start Something New sales event. It's about performance, and performance is taking care of you.
Many things have been stolen away during this time of uncertainty. No crowds to cheer on their favorite teams. Applause and pageantry have been stripped away. Thieves are looking to make your home empty and silent. Star Communications has the answer you are looking for. Security by Star. Automation and affordability along with friendly service makes for a security choice that is sure to keep your family cheering.
All right, so we have all of our veggies in our bowl here. Last step is to just add in our dressing that we have already made. Once it's sitting there, it will begin to separate because it's oil and vinegar. It's gonna start to separate. So just mix it together one more time and then drizzle it all on. This is a really good one too for the summertime. It's really fresh. Whenever you're just not wanting something super heavy, you can make this dish. And you can just see all the pretty colors in there. It's definitely something that we look for in a dish. When we're talking about heart health, we want to make sure that we're consuming all of the different colors of the rainbow because each one has different vitamins, nutrients, minerals that are just good for our bodies. So once you get that all blended together, I personally like mine to sit a little bit longer to really marinate and get those flavors all blended in. So I like to throw it in the fridge for maybe an hour or so, and then I think it's perfect to go. This is one you could make ahead of the time and have it ready for the whole week. So black-eyed pea salad, yum, so good, from the American Heart Association. We're scooting back over to our turkey burgers next, and these are just turkey sliders. So we have ground turkey as the basis of our meat. The recipe does not call for you to add any seasonings or anything to that. I felt like we needed to add a little bit of something to our mixture. So I just did a little bit of Italian seasoning, onion powder, and then garlic powder, and just a little bit of salt and pepper. So not a whole lot of seasonings in that, but you'll see kind of the size that we're going for. You just want to patty those up into little slider size portions. And you can go ahead, I've already got my oil on the pan over here. So I think it says about 3 inches in diameter is what you're looking for those turkey burgers. So we'll throw all of those in our pan. And you want to make sure you have a big enough pan that you can spread those out a little bit. You will need just a little bit of oil. I think I did maybe a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. You know, I'm a little heavy-handed on that. So you'll need about 1 to 2 teaspoons for our pan here. So because turkey is leaner than your beef. Now I will mention that just because you're opting for turkey, I had a conversation with a coworker yesterday about this, because I was telling her that there is different leanness of your ground turkey, just like there is for your beef. So you know they have like 85% lean beef, 93% lean, I think there's a 97% lean, all in your ground beef. Same thing for your ground turkey. So actually the one that is the grocery store brand that I purchased, it was 85% lean. So really, if you're talking about choosing your different cuts of different types of ground meat, all of them, not just beef, but ground turkey, even ground chicken, do have different types of leanness. So the best option is to really go 90 or above. But if you don't have that, then you can go a little bit lower. So biggest thing here is that by choosing the leaner ground beef or ground turkey, you're cutting back on that saturated fat. So we'll get these finished. I'm gonna go wash my hands because they've got turkey juice all over them. We'll see you guys back in just 1 second.
Sweetie, will you turn that down, please?
Keep life exciting, even when it's not. Watch TV everywhere from Star Communications.
After completing my contract, I still have to buy out of it? Come on. Here's your sign.
Switch to the sign that's keeping homes secure and customers happy all over the area. Security from Star Communications. We pride ourselves on fair pricing and quick, friendly service every time.
Somebody try to break into this place?
Security from Star Communications.
Hey guys, so we have our turkey burgers almost done. You want to make sure that those get to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. So as you're cooking those, just go ahead. I have my thermometer that I'm gonna use to just double check. And you just wanna insert the probe into that thickest part. And we are climbing. We are still gonna throw these in the oven just for a minute to let the cheese melt as well. So we are there. And I'm just gonna throw these on this pan here. And with your ground meats, you do tend to have to cook those a little bit higher than something like your whole muscle meats. Just because you have to think about when they're grinding up that meat, they're taking the outside and grinding it with the inside. So you're more susceptible to that bacteria and all of that getting all throughout the meat, not just on the exterior, which is why it's so important for us to cook it to the proper temperature. So we just need about a cup of mushrooms. I'm gonna do this whole thing even if we don't use them all because I love mushrooms. I add them to all kinds of things and I can add them to stuff later. They'll already be cooked and ready to use. So I didn't add any extra oil to my pan because we've already got a good amount of oil in there just from the olive oil plus the turkey burgers I had. Turn that down just a little bit and let that cook. And then the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of my cheese. Now I could not find the reduced fat Swiss cheese. So instead I got the extra thin cheese slices so that I won't be using quite as much. So I'm just gonna take those and just flip them in half. You could also cut these, into quarters or into half if you want to do that. Because of the ones I purchased, we're just gonna go this route. And what I'll do is I'll throw these in the oven while the rest of our mushrooms are cooking. And then they'll be ready to go once the mushrooms are done. So we're gonna go over to the oven really quick and throw these in. Now my oven is on 425 degrees. And you just wanna let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes. So we'll come back over here and we'll chop up, we have a tomato and some avocado to go on top of our sliders. So this is just slices. You could add other things to this if there's something else that you like on top of your burgers. There's my tomato and then my avocado. We're just gonna rotate that in half. And then y'all have seen me do this before. I like to actually use the back of the knife because I'm less likely to go straight through and hit my hand. And then if you take a spoon, you can just scoop that out really easily. And that's all that we're gonna do in terms of the avocado because I don't want it to go bad. I wanna make sure that it gets used up. So what I like to do to kind of keep this to stay fresh and green for longer is I keep that other outer layer and I just top it. Then I'll take some saran wrap and just wrap it around it so that it stays nice and tight. I did see, and I don't know if this works or not, so don't take my word for it, but I've been meaning to try it, is if you have this and you actually just sit it in a little container with water that covers it all the way to the top, it's supposed to also keep it from getting, turning brown. I don't know if that affects the quality and makes it mushy, not sure, but cool little trick if you're trying to think of other ways to keep your avocado from turning colors. So we've got a really healthy meal here. We've got our leaner meat. We have lots of vegetables going on, some mushrooms, avocado, tomato. We've got our unsaturated fats and our oils. So that is just so key to building a healthy heart. The other component that we want to make sure we're including is to be working our heart. So doing exercises, doing different things to help work that heart muscle and make sure that it'll be nice and strong for a long time. So in addition to our diet, we want to make sure that we're moving, we're exercising, and we are helping to strengthen our heart as well. So we will see you guys back next time. We're going to get these sliders loaded up and we'll show you the finished product when they're all done. But I hope that you enjoy this. Do something to take care of your heart this month to celebrate National Heart Month, and we will see you guys back next time.